Alrighty everyone, welcome back to an Expedition 33 video. In this one I'm gonna go over the builds for each of the 5 characters that I personally use, both to clear the end of New Game, which includes Simon, and also all of New Game Plus. Now we're going to start off with Verso. Now when it comes to Pictos, you can always look down here to see what Pictos I have equipped. Just try to make sure that they are the highest level that you can possibly equip, but they don't matter that much, at least not only for Lune. For Lune they do matter, okay? So I will get into that once we get to Lune, but for now what does matter of course is the weapon. So with Verso you want to go with the Contorso. The reason for this is because he gets S rank on break with this weapon. He also does 100% crits in S rank, so this is why also the Pictos don't matter much. You don't need to pay attention to his crit rate. And then also it triggers a lightning strike on crits, which is pretty nice, right? Now when it comes to Verso skills, you don't need any skills. If you do want to use a skill, you can use follow-up. So basically what you do is you do your free aim shots, and you make sure you have 2 AP left, and then you use this. This is single target, so I would only use it against, like, you know, a single enemy. And it will do a lot of damage if you do the Luminas right on this build. Now when it comes to the Luminas, you can go ahead, and just copy my Luminas. I am gonna try to explain a little bit when it comes to Verso, but I won't yap this much when it comes to the others. Reason that I do have to explain with Verso is because his build is the most intricate out of the 5. So this one breaker is important because it increases your break damage. You obviously want, you know, to break for this weapon. Combo attack doesn't matter that much. Game powerful on breaking doesn't matter that much. Gradient fighter, very important because you get 25% increased damage with gradient attacks. And this build, half of it depends on your gradient attack. Okay, and you'll see what I mean in the gameplay. I'll have a gameplay section to show you guys how to use each of the builds, right? 100% crit chance while fighting alone. Doesn't really matter. You don't need this. I just have this equipped because I had some extra space, right? Sniper, super important for this build. Make sure you have this. Solo fighter when he's fighting by himself. Roulette, I will say, I have on every single one of my characters currently, but sometimes I don't have it on anyone. It's just how I feel, and you can do the same thing. You don't need to have roulette, right? This is something personal, up to everyone individually. Paint the power, obviously you need. Let's see, which one is very important? Death bomb. Super important. You want to have Death Bomb, and the reason for that is because you want to combine it with, where is it? Is it a defensive one? No, so here I have Second Chance, also very important, or you will literally be death at, you know, you will die at the start because of auto death, so you really need Second Chance, okay? Yeah, here it is, auto death. So kill self on battle start, right? So super important to have this one as well. Auto death, you want to mix with Death Bomb and with Second Chance. Those 3 are like the core. That is how you will be able to do immediate break damage, because then you get Burning Break. This one for 10% extra gradients, Burning Shot for burn on free aim. Basically, you want your shots to be as powerful as possible. So you put everything that you have that can empower your AP gain as well, and your free damage, your free aim shots. And you want to have everything that gives you more gradient and also more gradient attack damage equipped as well. Also super important. I know this explanation was a bit of a mess, but just make sure you have all of these Luminas, and I will show you how to use it right now if you are not familiar yet with the Immortal Verso build. Alright, so you're gonna load in, Verso's gonna die immediately, and revive with Second Chance. And as you can see, every single one of the enemies' break meter has been fully charged now. This is super important because that is why you have Death Bomb and Auto Death equipped. Then, what you want to do next is, this build is great for Verso by himself because look, On break, you immediately go to S rank, right? Now do keep in mind as well that if you have Sheeter, which you probably should have, you can also go a second time normally, and you can break someone else with like a normal attack after spending free aim shots. But yeah, the way I do it is I don't use follow-up, right? I keep using free aim shots because the whole point is that you want to fill up the gradient charges, right? So now I go ahead and attack this guy, and he's also stunned. And our gradient charge is now 3 out of 3, right? Beautiful. Now we just can't die to this guy, but you know, this works best in a against a singular enemy, right? A singular boss, essentially. Okay. Okay, was that it? Okay, are you done? Alright, thank you. Anyone else? Oh. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. We're not supposed to die, at least not right now. Because I need to show you guys how it works, but can you not? Yeah, okay, so we died. Anyways, if you want to see how the build works against a singular enemy, you can watch my Simon video. Probably put a link in the description. That is where you see the build in action. And the gradient attack is also super filling up the gradient meter is also super good in a team, because as you can see right here in this clip, I filled up the meter using Verso, and then I gave the gradient attack to Lune, and she, if you don't know, she has like, besides maybe Maelle's Gommage for single target, she has the highest hitting, you know, attack in the whole game. So there you go. Alright, next up we'll talk a bit about Maelle. This one is very simple. It's probably going to be very quickly. So for the weapon I use Barrier Breaker. Why? Because of its insane power, right? That's really it. I think there's one or two other swords that are equally good, maybe slightly better for this build, but I honestly don't know them by name because I honestly don't care. I love Barrier Breaker from the moment I got it, and I'm not switching weapons, so it is that simple. I recommend Barrier Breaker. Now in terms of her skills, you need 3 skills essentially. You need Last Chance, because this reduces her health to 1, but it refills all of her AP and puts her in virtual stance, right? Then you have Phantom Strike, which you use against multiple enemies. And then you have Stand Tall, which is insanely high single target damage. Great for one boss, essentially. Now, I think everyone already knows this Maelle build. I don't think I have to show any gameplay of this. You probably get the gist, right? Phantom Strike, so first you use Last Chance, then Phantom Strike if it's multiple enemies, or Stand Tall if you want to destroy a singular enemy. Her Gommage skill, Gradient Attack, is also super good. You just need to use it at the right time. These are the Luminas I run on her. Offensive ones, the defensive ones, and the support ones. Alright, next up, I want to talk about Lune. I'm pretty excited about this one, okay? Who doesn't love Lune? So, for the weapon, I use Scaverim. Why do I use Scaverim? It's a very strong weapon for her. It's like, maybe it's top 1, but it's definitely in the top 3 for her. Base attacks can consume 1 Dark Stain to deal 200% more damage as well. So her base attacks will do more damage with this weapon. It's a nice little thing, but at the end of the day, if you just have a good and hard-hitting weapon with her, you'll be fine with this build, because the weapon doesn't matter that much with Lune. What matters with Lune is your Pictos, okay? She's the only one where this matters a lot. Why is that? Okay. That is because you want to reach a 100% crit rate with Lune. As you can see right there, mine is 109. You need, okay, like if you want to do this build, you need to have at least 100% crit rate. It is that simple. You need 100% crit rate. I'll explain and then I'll show you why. So you need essentially 2 skills, right? You need Elemental Trick. What will this do? Well, if you have 100% crit chance, this will give you 4 stains, right? And you need that to then activate Elemental Genesis. This is by far her hardest hitting skill. Now, if there is a single target, this is still the best option. But you could also use Mayhem. It does a pretty good amount of damage and it can break, right? So you do need to keep that in mind. This one can break. Elemental Genesis does a lot more damage, but it cannot break. So if you really need break, if you're in a pinch or something, which you probably won't be with insane builds like this, then that is the way to go. For these slots, you can also go with whatever you want. I kind of have these because Lightning Dance against like an enemy that's weak to lightning, this hits like a truck. And the same thing goes for Fire Rage, I think it is. Is it Hell or is it Fire Rage that does more damage? I forgot, but I like both whenever I'm up against an enemy that's weak to fire. But you can honestly, these skills don't matter, you can pick whatever you want there. It's these three that matter, especially Elemental Trick followed up by Elemental Genesis. For the Luminos, I will show you guys. So these are my offensive Luminos on her. Very important. Now, let's see. Is it? No, it's not versatile. I forgot the name, but there is the one that gives you 100% crit if you're fighting by yourself. But you will probably use her more in a team setting. So still try to have your Pictos provide her 100% crits. Second Chance I always have because, you know, what are you gonna do without Second Chance, right? It's so good to have. Sheeter as well. I have Sheeter on everyone, I think except for my Monoco. I also don't really need it on him. But yeah, so these are, yeah, that's these. We're gonna go to Monoco next. My apologies for that. Before we're gonna go to Monoco, I'm gonna show you guys how to use the Lune build. It's also a simple one, right? But yeah, so first you start with Elemental Trick, okay? There we go. She generates 4 states. It's exactly what you want and need. And at this point you'll have 4 AP left if you've copied my Luminos. And that's when you use Elemental Genesis. Now I have Roulette on, so let's hope we get 200% hits. Yeah, that wasn't bad, I'll take it. But you guys get the gist, right? So that will destroy a lot of things, right? Now, if they stop attacking me, I want to show you guys one more thing real quick. Or just, you know, talk to you guys about it real quick. But you already saw it in the Verso clip. But Skybreak does even more damage than the elemental combo I just showed you guys. So if you use her alongside Verso, even if it's just the two of them, she can use Skybreak and absolutely obliterate anything. Alright, next up I'll talk about my Monoco build, and then I'll show you guys the build in action, I guess, as well. Even though I don't really have to, it's very simple. But yeah, so what you want to get for the weapon is the Joyaro is, I think, how you pronounce it. You really want this weapon because it starts you off in the Almighty Mask. Plain and simple. That's all you need, right? But then also break damage is doubled while in Almighty Mask form. And the level 10 is also a pretty cool ability, even though you're probably not really gonna use it unless you're super good at dodging. When it comes to his skills, you only really need 2 skills. You want to have Creation Void for single target enemies, right? Like one singular enemy. This will hit 3 times, it will do a lot of damage, and it's void damage. Who doesn't love void damage? And then, arguably even stronger is the Sakapatate Fire. So this is what you want to use when there's multiple enemies on screen, and it will absolutely wreck them. It will absolutely destroy them, especially if you combine this with I'll talk about her later, but I'll show you right excuse me, but I'll show you right now. If you combine it with Sciel, I found it to be absolutely insane. Now this goes for every character, of course, but if you use Fortune's Fury, right, which doubles the damage, and you then use Sakapatate Fire, dude, the damage is it's insane. It's actually not normal. I don't think I have a clip of it right now, but anyways, it's insane. So for the Luminos, let me see. I'll show you guys the Luminos. Is there anything special with him I need to go over? Let me take a look. I don't believe there is. it's very important to break with him, I found, especially with that weapon. So I would go for like breaking attack and breaker, that kind of stuff. Defensive, not really. And then here in the support, right, a problem I ran into with this build before with him was the energy. Sorry, that was my phone. But was the energy, because what ends up happening is his skill costs 9 AP, and I just kept finding myself without enough AP in like a second turn, for example, if there has to be a second turn. So I would say try and get Energy Master and all this stuff that gives you more AP. I think that's very important. Alright, last and unfortunately I have to say least, we're gonna go with Sciel's build. Now I haven't shown Monoco because obviously it was very simple, and I don't want this video to be too long, guys. If you want to see my builds in action, just let me know and I'll try to bring out content that shows the builds in action. I just felt like I definitely had to show Versos because it's definitely the most intricate one, right? So with Sciel you want to get Charn on. The power isn't that amazing. There are I think like 2 other sites you could use for this build, but I found this one to be slightly better than the others in my opinion. You do apply an extra foretell on critical hits, and as you can see my crit rate is well over 100%. And it's a really cool looking weapon as well, I'm gonna be honest. So applying foretell, that's obviously the important thing with Sciel, right? Now I'm gonna be honest with you, she is the weakest out of my 5 characters, and she always has been. And I think this isn't my fault. I think this is just the case for everyone, that you will find Sciel to be less effective than the other 4 characters if you would have to rank them. So I would say you need to equip Fortune's Fury, unless you're playing her like solo, for an example. We'll get to that. But if you're using her with anyone else, you should use Fortune's Fury. It literally doubles the other person's damage. It is absolutely insane, like I just talked about with Monoco. But other than that, you want to have Focus Foretell and Bad Omen. The reason for this is Focus Foretell, I use this on single target, on single enemies, sorry, because it's a single target skill. And this can generate up to 3 foretell, right? Now in most cases you'll be using Bad Omen, which generates 2 foretell per hit. And this will be used on multiple targets. It also does 2 hits. So it actually generates slightly more than Focus Foretell, right? But it also costs 1 more AP. Okay, so also think about that. You need to manage your AP well. Whichever one you use, you want to follow up with Dark Wave, because Dark Wave does an insane amount of AoE damage, 3 clean hits. And if you can, but you won't be able to right away, like for example you can go Bad Omen or Focus Foretell into Dark Wave without any issues. But Twilight Dance costs 9, it will be too much to do in 1 turn. You would have to do this on a second turn. But I'd say it's worth it if you want to go for it, especially on like 1 target, on like a boss fight, because Twilight Dance is her hardest hitting skill by far. And it's also a really clean and cool animation. Now let's quickly go to the Luminas and I'll see if there's anything special I need to point out. But these are the offensive ones. I don't see anything special there. Why do I have... Oh. Well, you don't necessarily need this one, but yeah, you can equip it, sure. And then support ones, Cheater of course, like on everyone, except I think for Monoco. Yeah, just a bit of that. Same thing with her as with Monoco. Honestly, you need to make sure that you have enough AP, right? It's very important, especially if you want to use her hardest hitting attack. But yeah, I think that's about it for my builds, guys. If there is anything else you want to know, or you know, I know my explanations aren't that great, you have questions, feel free to ask them. Or any other questions that have nothing to do with the build, go ahead and ask them if you need to, and I will try to answer them. But thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.